everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining today. This is gonna be a fun one because we're gonna be talking all about tomatoes and what tomato varieties we're growing. And there's
Wow,
quite
that
a
is a
few.
lot.
I
I
know.
hadn't
It's
I hadn't
15.
seen the pile of seeds yet. We got a lot of tomatoes. I'm
Yes.
learning I'm
Well,
learning at the same time you guys are about what tomatoes we're growing this year because Carrie went on a shopping spree the other day and got all of our tomatoes.
yep.
And I'm excited to learn about what we're growing too. So I'm just as excited as you guys are to find out what we're growing.
You see, that's how busy we are, is that we like couldn't even find a time to sit down and order our tomatoes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it because we are gonna be late and we need to get our tomatoes going if I don't do it. So yeah.
So today we're going to be talking all about tomatoes. We're going to go through all the varieties that we picked out. We're going to look at them. I'm going to learn about them too. I know some of them are going to be ones I already know about. But
I
I'm
did
excited.
pick several for you in particular, so don't
Aw,
worry.
I'm
You have
excited.
several of your favorites in there. So
It's like a spring Christmas for tomatoes or something. So
yeah, there we go.
so anyway, if you don't know who we are Dell and Carrie. We are the creators of the Seed to Spoon Garden app, and we do these live streams every Tuesday. And try and have fun, keep it super informal, and just give you a place to come hang out on the internet to learn about some gardening stuff and just get a break from the real world. So that's what we're doing today. So we're going to talk all about tomatoes. You can jump in the chat, and you'll be entered to win. So we do a giveaway every week on these as well. Um, we give away a free premium yearly subscription to our Seed to Spoon app, which gets you free shipping in the Park Seed store, and it gets you unlimited usage in the app for GrowBot and for adding all of your plants and all the stuff that Carrie just popped up here on the list. So all you got to do to be entered to win is to leave a comment and join the chat, and that's it. And you're entered to win. So we'll give away one at the end of this live stream, and then we usually give one away at the beginning of the live stream from the previous week because some of y'all aren't able to watch us live, and it's not fair that y'all can't be eligible to win too. So that's how you're able to join in the fun. So leave a comment on the YouTube video or the Facebook video after it goes out, and then we go through those and pick a winner from there, and we announce it right now. So, Carrie, do you got the winner from last week ready to go?
Yeah, I forgot to put it in, but hold on just a second.
Okay,
I always
no
forget
worries.
to like enter the name. There we go. Yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I don't think I put it in yet.
I
Okay.
thought I saw that look in your eye.
Yeah, I was like, oh, let me go grab it real quick. There we go.
Congratulations.
LJ Duke 3309. So
Congratulations. So email
congratulations.
us at info@seedspoon.net. We'll get you set up. And again, you can win today right now on this live stream just by leaving a comment. So all right. Well, let's jump in and start learning about some tomatoes. So what all did we buy this year, Carrie? Let's
Well, I wanted to address this first. So you
Okay.
are not alone. I know that you live in California, though, I believe. And so you may be more behind than me, but I haven't started my seeds yet, too. But honestly, like, I feel like the perfect time to start is always going to be today, right? That's how it always is. So if you haven't started yet, don't worry. Like there's several in here that I'm going to talk about too that are like fast producing ones too. So if you are running behind or if you have a small like really short growing window, there's still some things you can do, or, I can also talk about indoor ones too. So there's a lot of varieties that you can do for tomatoes.
We're trying to take a low stress path towards gardening this year, which involves not starting an entire garage full of tomatoes in January like we did last year, because that was a lot of work and a lot of added stress. So we're trying to chill out a
Yes.
little more this year and grow a little more reasonably. And
Well, I figured this way we don't have to like up pot them quite as much too,
yeah,
because whenever we start them like super early, we have to up pot them at least like two times it seems. And yeah, so
and we're
yeah.
still about a month out from being able to put them outside here in Oklahoma. So starting them today, when it's going to take them about 4 to 6 days to germinate, probably. And then in the biodome, growing right behind Carrie in the kitchen, they're going to grow so fast that they're going to be ready to go at the perfect time. So we're trying to be a little more chill about growing this year and not have. I mean, y'all should see. We probably have a picture of our garage from last year. It was just chaos. It was more
I
plants than we could
probably
handle.
do.
Yeah,
Well, let's see. Well, I have this picture, but you can
this
kind
was
of
like
see.
1/8 of the area that we
Yeah,
had. Essentially, not even that. There were, yeah, just racks on racks on racks of
yeah,
plants everywhere.
yeah.
So
So now, like this, so far, like this is what I have going over here. So all
I'm
like
gonna go
all of
full screen
these,
on you so they can see here.
yeah.
There
So
we go.
so far, like
Oh, I hit
that's
it.
just what I got. But so we're trying to keep it not too like intense and have like a realistic amount of seeds. Try not
Yeah.
to be too overwhelmed because yeah,
Well, and a big part of that too is like the sun. So we started growing over the winter in our sunroom, and it's the first time that we really like took the idea of trying to grow. Like we've grown greens over the winter before, but we grew tomatoes and peppers over the winter this year using the sunroom and using the area behind Carrie. So coming into this spring, I don't feel quite as like, oh my gosh, I got to hurry up and get stuff growing because I've been without it all winter as I normally do. It's like, well, now we
yeah,
just get to grow a
yeah.
lot more. It's just because we're already getting enough food to eat off of just our sunroom and behind Carrie. I mean, that tiny little basil plant over Carrie's shoulder gives a ton of basil off of it, and that's one little plant.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we're just thinking
Well, and I
about
do
different.
feel like between like this tomato and the tomato we have growing in the sunroom still, we are getting a whole bunch of tomatoes still. So,
Yeah, the
yeah,
one in the sunroom is giant. I mean, it has so many tomatoes like starting to form and load up on it. It's
I know. It's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the tomatoes that are coming next.
Okay.
So I know, Carrie, you've got your stack of seeds. Do you just want to go through the seeds, and then we'll
Yeah.
look them up on the website and take a look at
Yep.
them.
Sounds good. So here's the first one that I have on the list. This is the Parks Junior Whopper in
We
pink.
know all about this one.
I do know all about this one. So
Was
this
that
was
one
a
on top already, or did you organize them? I don't believe it was random.
I have them in order. No.
Okay,
So
this one's very good.
this is
I'm
honestly like one of
yeah.
my favorite tomatoes to grow.
So with tomatoes, especially some of the cherries, I don't know, they could just be a little like they don't have the taste of some of the larger ones, and this one changes that. This one tastes so good, and it's sweet and not bitter at all. And I'm not a huge tomato fan. Like I don't like to snack tomatoes out of the garden normally. It's just a little bitter for my. I don't know. Just not my thing. These ones I do. These ones are very good. So highly recommend these. They're indeterminates. They grow. Aren't they? Are they indeterminates? Yeah, they're full
Yep.
indeterminates. So I know we
Yeah.
had them on a
They
but
take
we had them
up.
on a pretty short fence though. It's not like they got out of control. Like
No, no.
like the
They
Whopper,
have
like
them
the
on a
full size
cattle.
Whoppers get really big.
Yeah.
These like stay manageable much easier. So we had it on a cattle panel we put on the side, took up the entire cattle panel. It was just a wall of them. It was awesome. The kids loved going this area, especially the toddlers. They were over there all the time to
It's
snack on
actually
tomatoes.
is actually on this cattle panel. I know this shows
Yeah.
peas, but this was the cattle panel we had it on. Yeah.
We got a ton of content from last year that we've put out of videos and stuff of the kids picking it and stuff. So when you see that, that's what this is. And this is definitely, if you're going to go with a vining tomato that's easy to grow, again, because smaller tomatoes are much easier to grow than the large ones. I highly recommend starting with small tomatoes and just doing them anyway. Um, this one's really easy to grow and it tastes really good. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, this one honestly, like, I mean, Dale said like the taste is unbeatable, but seriously, I'm not typically one to go out in the garden and snack on tomatoes. Like, I love them in food and like in salads and in recipes and all of that. But this was one that I was actually just like going out there and just eating them right off the vine. So good. Seriously, incredible. Tastes great. Looks beautiful. They're just this beautiful pink color. Yes. So probably like one of my favorite tomatoes right there.
All right, what's our next one on the list?
Next one here I have is Cherry Blast. So this one we actually grew for the first time last year.
Oh yeah.
I had so much fun with these. I put these in little hanging baskets, and actually the Smart Pots no cocoa liners. And it was my first time using those Smart Pots no cocoa liners, and I was a huge fan of those too. But I put these in there, and literally, like you can see that picture right there. They just like trellis like over top. They like trailed over, and it was beautiful. And they just thrived and looked gorgeous in this hanging basket. So I was like, I need to have several more hanging basket tomatoes because it was just so fun and so unique. So this was definitely on the list for today too.
We should try putting some of these in our green stock as well. I think
Ooh,
this
yeah,
would do
that's a good
really
idea.
well in a green stock or in the pouch that we have in the sunroom on the side of our raised bed containers we've got, like the Smart Pots pouch we've got there. A lot of yeah.
Yes, that's a good idea.
We could probably grow this one like a kitchen mini indoors too, just over there in that area. Let it trail off that like heart thing you got behind you or
I
something.
Oh yeah, I like it. Yeah, over
Because it
here.
only gets 22 inches wide and 6 inches
Yeah,
tall.
it's very small, very petite plant. Like I said, it's perfect for it for like small space and all that.
And with 47 days to maturity on it, this is gonna be one that you get really fast too. So
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that. We started them, and they were one of the first tomatoes that we started getting them from because I remember they were actually, I had some hanging right here, and I remember talking about them and looking over there, and I was like, "Oh, I have tomatoes." Yeah, it was really exciting. So,
so would you say you had a blast with the cherry blast?
I absolutely had a
This is right
blast.
up right up
I
Carrie's
know,
alley.
right?
So.
I had a blast with the cherry blast. Absolutely did.
They were 12-inch hanging planters, and we used the cocoa liners. So Smart Pots, no cocoa liners. Do we have a link on those in our list over here?
I don't
It's not
know.
something we were prepared to talk about today, so I don't know if we
I
have.
I should have known that I was
Oh,
gonna
I'm
mention
showing the
this.
website right here.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, just pull up. There you go.
These here. These are
I
awesome
think it was
because
actually before
before
that
we were
we.
going through like the actual cocoa liners, and they last one season, and then they're useful for other stuff. The worms really liked them, but if you're not a intense worm farmer, you may not have a need for all those cocoa liners that you're going through. So these make it so much easier because they just last a very long
Way less
time, and
messy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they look really nice. So we switched over to these on most all of our hanging baskets. We got like a bunch we bought at Sam's Club a couple years ago that were designed like nice ones we've got on the porch that we
Oh
still
yeah.
kind of use the plastic ones on. But for the most part, we like to do the open side ones, like the wire ones with these cocoa liners. Looks really nice.
Yep.
Okay, back to our list. What is next?
Next, I have Supremo.
I remember this one. It's like a Roma
Yep.
copy.
Yep.
Yep.
So this was one because I know how much you love your Roma varieties, and this is supposed to be a really, really good paste. Like it produces very reliably, has a whole bunch of tomatoes, and I was like, that's what we need right there.
I was looking for the QR code there. So you got them in
Yes.
order. I didn't have to
Yeah.
look for it far. It's right
I
there.
did. Yes, I tried to make sure that I put them in order, make it a little bit easier. But yeah, this is one that's going to be like a determinate. It's a so like a bush variety, so it doesn't grow like super large or anything like that, and it's just super good, very reliable for like paste and sauce and all of that. So that's why
Yep.
I put this one in.
So this one's 68 days of maturity. Now you got also got to factor in germination time. So realistically, we're looking at like 75 days on this. So this will be one that we're making a lot of salsa with in the summer.
Yep, absolutely.
And then this is another one we'll probably do another round of in the fall because once it hits June, like July, like once we get deep into July here, tomatoes just don't produce well unless you do a lot of work to keep them shaded in the afternoon and all that type of stuff. So really, like we have a pretty intense tomato season May, June, beginning of July, and then they pretty much stop at the end of July through August or like the beginning of September. And then we start getting a lot of tomatoes again in September and October. We've had tomatoes go all the way to Christmas sometimes here in Oklahoma.
Just depends on
Yeah.
the weather. You
Not to
never know.
brag, but yeah. So,
Yeah, sorry, guys.
but we've also had ice storms in the beginning of October. So we've had a bit of it all in Oklahoma, sometimes in the same season. So, yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, now I can see what's next on the list already. I can cheat. So.
Oh, you can't cheat. No looking
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Sorry.
I know, you're going to be in
You gotta
trouble.
take-
Okay, so next is this Rutgers VF tomato seeds. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is our first time growing these ones.
I don't believe we've grown this one before. It
Yep.
looks like some other ones we've grown, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've heard so many people talking about this variety, and I know that it was an heirloom variety. So I was like, this is probably one that we should add in to our list, you
It's
know?
also an all-American selection, which is usually like we go off of that a lot. So like when we were first getting antiquated with Park Seeds catalog, so it's been 5 years now since we've been with Park Seed. So if you're not familiar, Park Seed acquired our Seed to Spoon app 5 years ago, and now Carrie and I work essentially for Park Seed, and I help run the technology, and Carrie helps run marketing, and so we're very familiar with the varieties of Park Seed because we wanted to grow everything we have and really be able to understand all the varieties we have, and sometimes we'll help with trying to find other varieties we should bring in. And Carrie's a big reason why we have quite as many purple things as we do now.
Yep.
So anyway, we've been trying like these tomatoes for 5 years now, and we've got a pretty good, sense of the different varieties that we carry and that type of thing. And one the way that we've kind of led these efforts to figure out where we start, because when we came into the company and there were thousands of varieties of vegetables, but like Carrie and I really wanted to try all of them, and that's our mission still, is to try all of them. But it became a multi-year effort. So to start off, we filtered down to the all-American selections to help kind of start like our path of figuring out what to start with, and it proved really well. So that strategy paid off in a number of ways, and we found some really cool like broccolis because of it. I think yeah. And what brought was it? I don't remember the broccoli it was. That's for another live stream. So yeah, thanks for calling that out here. So the VF means it's resistant to those two different diseases. So thanks for calling that out. But
Yeah.
these will be determinants that will grow. So this is interesting because that shape of tomato I normally associate with an indeterminate. So being able to grow that shape as a determinate, I'm excited to try that out. Interested to see how that goes with cages and stuff, because that looks like a pretty beefy tomato that needs some help like holding up. So we'll see how like a full tomato plant loaded up with those does. But good thing we have those like hardcore cages that we've got. Do we have any links to those here?
I do
They're really
actually.
going to pay
I,
off
I
here.
did put those in there because I was like, I know I'll probably mention these at some point. But yes,
Yeah,
these are.
these tomato cages are legit. So I have so many broken tomato cages that I bought from the store, name the big box store, whatever it is, where those cheap welds just come apart quickly, and now you've got these spiky like things hanging out everywhere, and I'm always worried my kids are going to run it. So anyway, these cages are pretty much indestructible. I mean, I have really put them to the test. Our goats have put them to the test. From when they broke into the garden, they stepped all over them and like
Mhm.
bent it up a little bit, but I just bent it right back, and we're good to go. Nothing broke. So these cages are legit.
Well,
And
yeah, and I was gonna say I do love, and I think the fact that saves them is the fact that they fold up flat whenever you're not using
yeah,
them, because the other ones are just like stay rounded, and so we're like, where do we put these to? So these just being flat, like they store really well, so they don't break as easy. Like, yeah,
yeah. Well, they're not like the cheap welds and stuff. I mean, we are the ultimate testers of equipment around here. We are
yeah,
very hard on equipment. A lot of stuff gets left outside in the rain, and again, goats trample over it, human kids trample all over it. There's just a lot of trampling going on around here. It's just chaos all the time. So these tomato cages, definitely when we're talking about determinate tomatoes, those are going to be lifesavers for us. The tomato cages we had before have now become pepper cages. I don't look at them as tomato cages anymore. They're all just pepper cages and they're color coded. So the red ones are now just the hot peppers. So, all right, what's next on our
Okay.
list?
So if you notice, I did try to keep it like I did go through and try to keep a majority of these like the determinate, the bush tomatoes, because I know we don't have a whole lot of space for like the vining and indeterminates. So I tried to pick a lot of like new and unique like bush varieties and stuff like that. But as I say that, the next one on the list is not, but I was very, very strategic and only did like a few of my very favorite ones. And this one right here is the Black Crim. Absolutely love, love, love these. I grew them for the first time last year, and they grew very large. So you definitely need to have plenty of space. I actually grew them over top of one of our cattle panel arch trellises. But just, I mean, look at the picture too. Like they're so beautiful. Like they were just this like I mean they weren't technically like black, but they were just this like dark red, like very beautiful. Yeah, I was a huge fan of these. Yeah, very good. So another this was another heirloom variety too. Um and I think yep, organic too. So, yeah.
Sounds like it's got a pretty cool history too. Discovered by
Ooh,
a
I don't know
Swedish
that.
traveler in the Crimea. I love
Interesting.
reading about history of. It's one of the cool things about my job is I spend a lot of time with park seed product data. So it's like I'm looking at product data that's actually interesting to me. It's not like when I worked in whatever boring industry I worked in before, whether it was healthcare or whatever, or like it was all just like when I'm testing stuff, I get to actually look at gardening stuff. It's nice. So
Yeah, I do.
okay,
So Tanya called out too. Love the black crim flavor, and they produced really well. So yes, they definitely did for sure. Okay. Oh, you
oh,
cheater!
I did.
You
I
looked at the
cheated.
list again.
I did.
Wow. I'm gonna have to take away your ability to look at that.
Someone's got to keep us moving. I got you.
Okay, I have San Marzano next, and you know why I did this one. This is for you
Thank you.
because you always talk about San Marzano being your absolute favorite variety. So that one was for you.
Thank you. So this one is interesting because it's like aroma, but it grows like a not Roma. So Roma is a determinate. This produces a very similar type of tomato, but it's vining. So we will have at least one of our cattle panels completely covered in these, and these are great for sauce and canning and all the stuff I like to do with tomatoes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, these ones are just like they're just always reliable, always perform really well. Like it's just one of the tried and true, you know.
And this is another one of the 295 seeds, which I think the one before was as well. So really good deals on a lot of these.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
next. I have the regular park swapper because you know we at least always have to have at least one of these growing in the garden, even though they are large and take up a lot of space. But again, they are large, which is amazing. Like they produce the best tomatoes, the best slicing tomatoes. So if you want like tomatoes for your hamburgers or things like that, like these are perfect for that. Absolutely love them.
These are real tomatoes. When you look at a cartoon of a tomato, it is this tomato. If you want to grow a real slicing tomato, this is the one for you. So we typically have a cattle panel arch that's completely covered
Mhm.
in one of at least one or two of these plants. They do really well, very disease resistant. Um, they grow very fast though. You really gotta like. There's gonna be a lot of suckers. You gotta manage like stay on top of it because it really goes. So
Yeah, it absolutely does. Like they will take over, which I mean, it's a good and a bad thing, right? I mean, you don't ever have to worry about them not performing well for you.
before I'd ever heard of Park Seed, I'd heard of the Park Swapper, and when we first got into gardening, I was going through the Master Gardener class, and it was next to a farmer's market down in Norman. And there was a lady there at the farmer's market who had probably 40 varieties of tomato, and she could have a 10-minute conversation with you about each one. And that was when I first learned about the Park Swapper, and she loved it, and she talked a lot about it, and kind of filed that away. And then as fate would have it, we got associated with Park Seed, and I was like, oh yeah, and that was kind of how I came into the conversation with Park Seed, was knowing of that Park Swapper. So yeah, this is a very well-known variety of tomato that does well for a lot of people. So if you're looking for a vining tomato and a slicer, this is a good one to start with.
Yeah.
There's some other ones we're going to talk about that we like, but they're a little more difficult. One coming up here pretty soon, but this one is like a great one to start with.
So, real quick question that I wanted to answer here. So, Desiree was asking, the tomato fertilizer from Espoma is what I got this year. Do we use it only when we transplant? So, that's perfect. That is exactly the fertilizer that I use with all of my tomatoes too. It always works perfect. Um, so yes, I use it whenever I go through here. I can pop up a QR code for it too. I made sure I kept it.
Yeah, I've got the directions actually right here. It's on the product page.
Yeah, I
So
was
you
gonna
do it at the time that you plant.
And then every like 3 weeks or so, right? Is that what it says?
So after they're well established, then you do twice a month during the growing season, and it gives you all the, and it's all on the back of the bag too. So this comes directly off the bag. So that's one of the nice things about buying the Spoma products too, is that it makes it all really easy to know what to use and what it goes for. We use a Spoma for pretty much all of our fertilizer, unless we're making it ourselves, and that's a pretty gross endeavor that I think I've retired from. That last batch we made of like a 55 gallon barrel full of fertilizer was like mostly like fish kelp, and it was gross. So yeah, I'm using this from now
Um, okay, so quick question. Picked up some espoma today. So put 3 spoonfuls in the planting hole, tablespoons or teaspoons. Will it burn the roots? Yeah, there's no, like, this is an organic fertilizer. And so it's going to be, you don't have to worry about it hurting the roots or doing anything like that. But generally, like, I do like mix it into the soil around it. I don't like just keep it like, right there. But that's just so that way it goes through and gets everything. And I don't know, is it tablespoons or teaspoons? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the directions again. But typically, like, again, because it is an organic one, I'm not always super like going out there and measuring it exactly. Sometimes I will just quite literally go in and grab a little handful and put it around in the soil. Probably not the best thing to do, but I mean, it's doesn't have to be exact science too, which is the beauty of the Espoma products. So
when you're using chemical fertilizers, you have to be exact.
yes,
This is why we
yes,
don't use chemical fertilizers, because we're not exact people. We, especially with gardening, we don't want to have to like get all scientific with it. We want to connect to the earth. So these, it's all full of natural ingredients that it's not gonna, you're not gonna overdo it with it.
sorry, a few questions here. So if I order today, will I get them by Saturday? It is
Depends on
possible.
where you are, but they ship out very fast from our facility
Yeah,
in Carolina. So
yeah. So once they place the order, they like, if you place it by a certain time, like sometimes they get it out that same day, but typically within like 24 hours, they'll be getting it out business days. And it is it's like little particles, little granules. So I mix it just in the soil, like right around the where I'm
like where
planting.
we're putting the plant. Yeah. So we'll make the little spot for the plant. We'll put the handful of it right there, kind of mix it in a little bit just in that little spot. And then
Yeah.
lay, now it's tomatoes, we're like laying down on their side when we're planting them, because they'll grow roots all along that base. So if you plant them to where they're a little bit deeper and you lay them down on the, is this a good representation? I kind of got little hairs that are roots.
Usually I do like 45-degree angle, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then each of the roots kind of go off of there, and then, so that's the way we're planting tomatoes. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I use that tomato tone for tomatoes, peppers, eggplant. I mean, a lot of different things. I mean, it's good for a lot of them.
As you can see here, there's a lot of different
Yeah.
types. So we're using mostly the tomato tone, and then where's the green one? The garden tone is what we use for most everything else. It's like a generic garden one,
Yep.
unless it's like for our roses and that type of stuff. We're doing like in our berries, but for all of our vegetables, it's either the tomato one or the garden one. But we'll use that tomato one on peppers too, like Carrie said, or sometimes on zucchini as well. 'Cause zucchini can likes the extra calcium and stuff.
Okay, next on the list,
All
I
right, back to
have
tomatoes.
Celebrity Plus. So, of course, I had to have celebrity. I know this is one that I feel like you talk about a lot
Looks like
too.
we're out of the small packs right now. We have the bulk
Oh,
pack, but
well, sorry guys, we took the last one. I ordered it just in time. But if it helps, I missed out on ordering one of my favorites because I was a little late. So, well, I guess we don't have to spend too much time on this one. But again, it
I
is
mean,
like,
they can buy 250 of them, and it's one where you probably you could get your money back if you bought 250 of them. You could sell them at a farmer's market if you want to go into the farmer's market business. But I don't know if that's
well, I
if I
mean,
have.
honestly, a lot of our seeds, like I keep our seeds for years too. Like some of these like are not brand new. Like I've had like the next one for a couple years now. So as long as you just store it where it's not like in a hot location in direct light, but also saying that like this because it's a gold packet, like it protects those seeds really well too. So we're protecting our seeds too just by keeping them in the packet. So
So the
um,
reason why you see packets of so many seeds on this is a very popular variety that's bought that a lot of people that sell at farmers markets or grow commercially buy. So like you can see, you can buy a pack of 1,000 seeds of here too. So that's why she chose this variety because it is a very popular one. I'm sure we'll have it back in stock soon. But this is
yeah,
one that you should look at getting. It's a determinate, so kind of like the Roma that I've talked about. I don't think we've actually shown a Roma yet, but I've
not
talked
yet.
about it a lot.
It's on the
Okay.
list.
So this is a determinate. So yeah, most of the time, like I mentioned earlier on that, what was the Supremo? No, the Rutgers was one earlier that's similar to this. Where usually we're growing like larger tomatoes as indeterminate. So I'm excited to
Well, yeah,
see how this one does. I don't think we've actually grown Celebrity. Have we actually ever grown it?
we
Not
have,
from
but we
seed, but
haven't. Yeah, yeah, and it's been a few years. Like we haven't grown
yeah.
it
It
in a
was like
while.
in the
So I was like,
beginning when I think we tried to
yeah,
grow a celebrity inside of like a plastic container the first year, and that's what got us to switch to smart pots. Was how horrible it was to grow in a plastic container in the summer in
yeah,
Oklahoma. So
yeah,
that's how long it's been. It's probably been like 10 years since we tried celebrities. So I'm gonna try it.
yeah. I
What
know.
is
So
Celebrity Plus? Like, what is the Plus edition? I didn't even know about this.
I don't know. Maybe it says in the description. If,
So
I'm
the
sure
original Celebrity was an AAS one. The Celebrity Plus is a hybrid F1.
I'm sure there's like extra like disease resistance or something like that. I feel like.
Celebrity Plus. All right.
Yes,
All
I
right,
do.
let's move on to the next one.
Next, we have Cherokee Purple. So, as you can see, like this one is opened because we have had this one for a couple years now. Um, but this is definitely one that I really like too, obviously, because I'm still going to be growing it and love it. It is beautiful, of course. I know Dale mentioned earlier how I love my purple varieties. This one is obviously the same. I love this. I grew it actually. I had this was a fun way to grow last year. I had on one side of the cattle panel the black crim, and the other side of the cattle panel the Cherokee purple. So I had the entire cattle panel of like just these gorgeous tomatoes. Oh, I loved it. But yes, so I absolutely always have to grow these these Cherokee purples. They're an heirloom variety. Um, definitely something to look at.
So a couple things on this one. I mentioned earlier that some tomatoes we recommend are easy to grow and some are harder. This is on the harder end of the spectrum. So it's worth it though. I still think you should try it, but just know that it may be more difficult than some other ones. It may be more prone to disease. It grows very large tomatoes, like some of them can get like up to a pound. Um, it can be like if we get like we have very temperamental summers here. When we get a flood of rain, we'll get like all of our tomatoes will crack on us. And the thing about the Cherokee Purple is they've got to be on the vine so long, so you just got to have like 3 weeks to a month essentially of somewhat stable weather for them to develop properly,
Yes.
which
They're
doesn't.
not quite as easy as the Whopper is. So if you
Yeah,
do want like a large one, that is easier and you don't have to worry about the weather and all of that as much, then yeah, look at that.
so
But
the
yes,
cool thing about
we really
heirlooms,
like these
if
things.
you're not familiar with heirlooms, if you save the seeds of this, you will get exactly that same plant again. So most all the other tomatoes that we've shown so far, if you save the seeds from them and try and grow them the next year, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get because it's a hybrid between two different varieties often, and it can be unpredictable which way the offspring of that will go whenever you grow those seeds out. This one, you know what you're going to get. You can save the seeds from this. You're going to get a Cherokee Purple next time. You're going to keep, and that's how this thing has been saved over the years. Is it's been saved that's how they. So this is one of those tomatoes where if you want to be in that situation where you can save seeds and you can do all that, this is a great one to go with, and it's fun to experiment with. So I wouldn't bet all my tomatoes on this one, but I would have it in the mix of things you're growing, but have some other tomatoes that maybe are a little more consistent and reliable in the mix. This is your fun one. This is the fun tomato.
Yes. Yes. Um, yes. So Desiree, I actually have grown this in a larger smart pot. I think we had it in like a 15-gallon smart pot, up against a cattle panel trellis. And it worked really well. And it actually like it would thrive in a smart pot because it can't like if you get a lot of rain, like the water will run through, so you don't have to worry about like anything like that. So it would be a really good variety to put into a smart pot for sure.
Every tomato is a good variety for a smart pot. Pretty much everything, all of our tomatoes will be in smart pots for the most part. We might have a couple in a raised bed, but for the most part, all of our tomatoes will be in smart pots. And a big reason for that is early in the season, we can take our tomatoes and put them outside. Um, and then if we have a hailstorm coming or a cold front or whatever else, we can move them either indoors or into our sunroom or whatever we need to do to save them. So pretty much all of our tomatoes are going to be in smart pots.
Okay, next I have the Park Seed Legacy. And again, this is one that is open too, but I still have a few seeds in there left that I wanted to plant out this year. And again, it is a bush tomato, so I have plenty of space that I can pop in a little bush tomato at places.
Have we grown this one?
Um, we did a few years back, which is why we have the seed packet and have it open. But yes, we did. It actually it did really good. We had it inside of the cages, the our tomato
Mm-hmm.
cages. Um, but yeah,
Remember
it's
now in the
really
large
really
smart
well
pot,
for us.
that big bag bed.
Yes, the purple one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yep. I know they renamed them. Not big bag bed anymore. What are they called? Round raised
round
beds.
raised beds.
Round
Yeah,
raised. Is that right, Edvin?
I
Edvin's here.
will always call it a big bag bed. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Evan. We're gonna call them big bag beds. That's just what happens.
The big
Because we're
100.
OGs. We've been with smart pots for we've been using them for 10 years now. So
I know, yeah.
and our smart pots are just as old. They look older now, just like I do from 10 years, but they're still working. So
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So again, like this is just a really reliable tomato that just will I it produced like continue like it just did really well for us, so it was one that I needed to make sure that I included again too, which of course we already had the seed packet for it, so I was like, yes, I am going to be starting some of those. And next on the list, I actually had to get this year, but it was the Parks season starter. I had used up all of our seeds from before because this is one of our favorites. And it is one that, especially if you have like a shorter growing season or you want your tomatoes really fast, this is perfect for it because it goes really fast. That's why it's called like season starter, because it's like, gets your season started, right?
So 60 days on this one.
Yeah, it's great. Yep. I'm a big fan of the season starter. Just like I said, for the speed to the reliability, it's just always performing really well for us.
I have a lot of work to do to get all of our gardens ready for all these tomatoes.
I know. I told you I was like that we got a lot of bush tomatoes because I was like, we don't have a whole lot of space to be growing all of these vining tomatoes. So I had to be very strategic about what vining tomatoes I chose. But I was like, I can do a bunch of bush tomatoes. We can pop all those everywhere.
Yep. All
So
right. So finally, we get to Roma, my favorite variety. It's very consistent, reliable for us. We get a ton of tomatoes that are perfect for canning. So big fan of Romas. Highly recommend. And again, another seed pack we've got for this $2.95. By the
yeah.
way, there's a section on the site. If you go to deals and seeds under $3, there's a lot of other sections in here too. But you can see all of the seeds that we have that are under $3 right here. There's a lot of them. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good section that I like. That's how we need to shop.
okay,
So
on our
I am close to being done with our list, but I am just including a few of the ones that, so this is our patio choice yellow cherry tomato. So as you can tell from the picture, they stay quite compact and small. This is one that we're actually already growing, but I did want to include it still because I was like, you guys need to know about this tomato if you don't already. We have it's the one that Dale was talking about that is out in our sunroom right now. That is just thriving. It is actually growing in a, man, I say this every time. I wish I had a picture I could show you guys. But it's in like a little small smart pot and it is just doing really well. It's given us already a whole bunch of tomatoes and it has a whole bunch more flowers coming soon. Like it's definitely been one of my favorite tomatoes, and it has lasted all winter long for us in the sunroom that's not heated or anything like that.
isn't it in one of these?
Yes, one of the, not that one exactly because that's a wall, like that's like the saddle. It's the
Mm-hmm.
wallflower that like it's the one side, not two-sided. But yes, that one right there.
So we
Yes,
have these attached to this. So I have a wooden raised bed that's elevated.
right behind you actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have these attached to it. Right, like just I just put some nails in and hung it on there, and that was all I had to do. And it's growing inside of one of those.
Yeah, so a 3 gallon, so there's 3 gallons worth of soil in there. But yeah, it is just thriving. But yeah, we had to be a little strategic because we don't have a whole lot of space in our sunroom over here. But we have so many things that we want to grow, as you guys can tell. We love to grow a lot of different varieties and different things. But yeah, that was a great way to try to make use of a lot of space that we had in there. Okay, next on the list is the Kitchen Mini Red Velvet. So this is one I am going to be starting some of these this year because I don't have this specific variety growing right now. And you guys know me, I love my little tiny tomato plants because, like I said, they just produce forever. Honestly, like the next variety we'll talk about. I should have put the Siam first. Um, but the Siam is the one that I actually have growing right behind me. And this is another kitchen mini as well too. And this one has been there thriving for over a year now. It's oh yeah, there we go. Here, I'll take that down for a second. Yeah, so you can see it's in a little 1 gallon smart pot right here. And you can see like the little red, you see the little red cherry tomatoes on there. Like it thrives. We have so many so many tomatoes. Like Dale said, we have had tomatoes all winter long because of these kitchen minis and the patio choice. Like yeah, it's amazing that you can grow things indoors no matter what the temperatures are outside, and these will do amazing for you. So, I highly recommend if you are short on space or if you are growing in an apartment or a patio or all of that, like there's so many options of tomatoes that you can still do, and those are just three of my favorites. Like, Parkseed has so many small space varieties too that you can choose from. So, yeah. You are muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry, there was a plane flying over, and I forgot to mute. So I know we're talking about tomatoes, but this is warranted. It's basil. Basil and tomatoes go together. This kitchen mini basil behind. So Carrie, can you grab it and show it without dumping water all over yourself? Sorry, I don't know if it's like this kitchen mini bonsai basil has been so awesome. So I trim off this thing all the time, and it's still a little bit on whatever it is I'm eating, and I
It
think
smells
this is
really good too. I'm like, hmm, yeah,
yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of basil varieties that I love. Most of those are outdoors, but this is one that's just super convenient and just handy to have around. And it's spruced up pretty much everything I've tried to eat the past few weeks. Where like, if
yeah,
I'm always in a hurry and I don't have a lot of time to make lunch or whatever it is, so I'm grabbing some chicken that I've already made, throwing it on a wrap or something, and then getting some greens out of the sunroom, and then some of this basil to give it some flavor, and it makes it so much better. So, I mean, I'm
so
not going to be
Charlotte,
making a lot of pesto out of it, but this is perfect for making stuff taste good.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that one is more of like a yes, add to your recipes and to have like it right there handy.
Mm.
Charlotte was asking, do the patio tomatoes or the tomatoes that you plant on your windowsill need to be pollinated? So I never do any sort of extra pollination, or I don't ever do any hand pollinating, nothing. So they just give me tomatoes. Poof.
I think a couple things are in play there. So we have children that do pollinating, I think, because they're always over there. I mean, there's flies and stuff that are doing
Yeah.
pollinating. Um, Out in the sunroom, like there's a fan, and the sunroom has window screens, so the wind like does a lot of pollinating. So there's this, yeah, because I've thought about that, about how this, because we haven't really done any work to
Yeah.
manually pollinate them, but it's working.
Yeah, I
So
really don't. A few other questions. How many of those patio tomato plants in a small grow bag? So we just do one in each small grow bag. So like this is one tomato. I know it kind of has like a one going off the side there, but it this is one plant. A few more questions. You grow the bush tomatoes in 5 gallon containers. Um, it depends on where we plant them. We have, let's see if I can pull up a picture of what our garden. Um, well, sort of. I mean, this is with our hoop houses all on, but we have this section right here of a bunch of like 4x8 wooden raised beds.
here
And
we
then
go.
we also have this area right here with a bunch of smart pots next to our cattle panel arch trellises. So we have a few different areas that we grow in, and typically for like the larger bush type contain or the larger bush type ones that are like the Romas and things like that, we're typically doing like a 15-gallon container, because generally the larger the container, the more you can mess up and not have to water quite as often and all of that. So it's
A lot
just
of
generally
times we're
going to be easier for
and a
you.
lot of times we're doing tomatoes in one of these round raised beds. So one of these really big
Mhm.
ones, and we have a tomato in the middle, and then we'll have marigolds and basil and other stuff around it.
Mhm.
So that's one of the ways we're growing a lot of those tomatoes too. So very rarely do we have it like a large tomato in a 5 gallon smart pot. That's just going to be like Carrie said. That's a lot of extra work to have to keep up with watering. I'm going to
Yeah.
try and take advantage of having a larger smart pot so that we don't have to do that as much. So it's either going to be a 15 or 20 that's taller, or like the 30 or 50 gallon that are the wide ones, and we've got other companion plants with it. Um, we've had a lot of success with tomatoes with being able to avoid pests and stuff like that, and I think a big reason for that is we surround them with marigolds and basil and nasturtiums and all sorts of stuff like that.
I popped this question up real quick. So, Great Martin was saying, I'm excited for these small space plant. I've always avoided it because I fear I can't meet the water needs. Doesn't need a lot of attention. So, no, this actually does not need a whole lot of attention. I water this thing maybe 2 times a week or so. That's generally all that I do. I don't do a whole lot. I fertilize it every few weeks or so. Again, like with that Espoma tomato tone fertilizer, I have it sitting right up there. I just grab like a little small handful, sprinkle it in, work it to the top of the soil. So that's really all I do for the kitchen minis. There's not a whole lot to do to care for them.
And that's in a 1 gallon smart pot. I mean, if
Yeah.
you did 2 or 3 gallon smart pot, it'd be even less work. I mean, we're really pushing the limits, and we're trying to see like how small of a smart pot can we grow in. And yeah, we've had a lot of success in these 1 gallons.
Yes. Let's see. How tall did your patio choice tomato get? I'm gonna say 2 feet ish, probably. Like
Yeah,
these are probably like a good like 1 foot for the both of the kitchen minis, the Siam and Red Velvet, like about 1 foot. But the patio ones are generally a little bit larger, but still
and a
like
lot
for
bushier
patio
too.
size.
Like the kitchen
Yes,
minis stay down to a couple stems, almost like a
very compact.
bonsai. Whereas
Yes.
the patio choice gets very like it's got a lot of different stems. It's going wild. It's got a lot on it. It's just very bushy. You're probably like 2 feet tall and 2 feet wide.
Yeah. So I actually have like little trays underneath each of these smart pots that I have. I mean, all of these have like little trays underneath. So that's how I keep it clean. Um, do we have any? I don't, let me see if we have a QR code for any smart pots. I have a transplanter in here.
So if you go to our website and
Yeah.
search for Smart Pot, you'll see all of the Smart Pots we have, and the ones that I showed, the round raised beds right here, the round raised bed. So 100 gallon is the big one that we have, and then there's 15 gallon round raised beds. I think there's an in between size too. Let me just search for round raised bed. Yeah, so here's the different sizes: 100 gallon, 15, and then 50.
Yeah. I love
I
this.
recommend going with a
Purple
50
too.
because the hundreds are impossible to move once they're full of soil without really making your back hurt all the time like mine does. Um, And the 50 gallons with two people, you can actually move those by scooting them. They're just a little more manageable. The hundreds, like wherever it
We
goes, it does.
consider it like a actual raised bed. Like, and that's, I mean, I feel like that's just the purpose of it. Like, it's just a really
Mhm.
easy to set up um, raised bed that is there. Like, open, unfold, put it out. Perfect.
And then some other options that are nice for the smart pots. These 6 foot ones here
Oh, yeah. I love those.
are really nice for the cattle panels. We have them along the side of the cattle panel. They also have a longer one too. Do we carry that one? Yep, right here, the 8 foot. So there's a 6 foot and an 8 foot. We have those along cattle panels. Those are really nice. And then the 10 gallons, we use a lot of these with the handles. It's pretty much the smallest I'm going with are the 10 gallons. And then these 20s and even 30s. So that we have the 30s. Yeah, 20s, or another there. We use a lot of these with potatoes, sweet potatoes, all that type of thing as we're going with the 20s. And or like the round raised beds are also really good for potatoes. I also really like doing the round raised beds for salad gardens. It's really good for that as well.
Okay. Oh, so this was a really good question too from Desiree. What do you do to process your leftover tomatoes since you guys grow so many? So we do a lot of things we've done in the past. We have made a bunch of sauce before. Um, wow, you pulling up a link? I bet we
I'm
have.
trying to find one of your videos on it.
I wonder if I could pull up the app if I can.
Oh, you got it pulled up. Cool.
I feel like I have a bunch of stuff
We've
in here.
done a lot of videos about tomato preservation. If you just go to our YouTube and search on there for tomato
Yeah.
preservation, I know you'll find it there. But we've done a lot of stuff about. So, long story short, we're making a lot of. Um, we're just canning them for the most part.
But yeah, we do sauces. We do also just like diced tomatoes too. We've even just frozen them before. Like you can just go in and like just freeze them, like little cherry
Mhm.
tomatoes, and just pop them out. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do.
Salsas, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't be intimidated by it. Like we were intimidated by it for a long time, and we didn't really do much in the way of preservation because we'd always heard about how you could do it wrong and accidentally kill your whole family, and that didn't sound like something we should be messing with. So we we avoided it for a long time. But especially with tomatoes and the acidity of tomatoes, it makes it just easier, and it's not as overwhelming as we thought it was going to be, and it's not as hard as we thought it was going to be. So that's one of the regrets. I mean, things we would have done differently is we would have started preserving from the beginning instead of being overwhelmed and intimidated by it. Like in the beginning, we only really preserved through drying or freezing. We didn't really do any canning, but tomatoes are something that it's really easy to can, and it doesn't take as like a ton of time if you, especially if you just um, dice them and can them that way. It's not as much processing time as if you're making sauce or whatever you're doing from it. So, um, yeah, we'll have a bunch of live streams about that too once we get deeper into the season and we've got tomatoes coming out. We'll be showing all of that. But check out our previous ones because we do these live streams every Tuesday, and I bet if you look at the ones from the fall last year, there was a lot about tomato preservation.
There absolutely was, yes. Um, Real quick, I'll answer a couple more questions and then we'll do the giveaway. So, what size sponges do you use for starting tomatoes in biodomes? So I start all of mine in biodomes over here. So if you haven't seen them before, it's these right here, the Park Seed Biodome. They work absolutely amazing, especially for tomatoes. But really, any sort of any sort of seed that you're starting, they work perfect. But there are different size sponges. There is the jumbo size, which is like there's 18, and then there's I don't remember what the other ones are called, but there's a 40 and a 60. And then I do the 18 cell, which is the jumbo sizes. That's the ones that I use for tomatoes because it is a really good one because they're like very large space. So I can keep my tomatoes in there for larger and don't have to quite up pot them as much before I put them outside. So that is a really good use for the 18 cell.
By the way, the 60 cell is on sale right now for $20, which is a great deal.
Ooh,
So yeah, I'm glad that someone mentioned that because I was going to mention it to you guys and I forgot. So I'm glad. So it's just the 60 cell. The 18 cell is the one you're going to want for tomatoes, but the 60 cell is great for lettuce, for basil,
I
for
do it for flowers.
flowers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
we use
sorts.
it for a lot. Like all like our brassicas are kind of pushing it, unless you're going to do a quick transplant on it, kind of depending on how long you're going to keep them indoors. But definitely snatch up that $20 deal in the Biodome because it's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's an amazing deal. Yeah,
Because I think that's as cheap as they get. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the cheapest I've seen.
I'm pretty sure that's the cheapest I've seen. But
Yeah.
okay, so we are past time now. Sorry, we had so many questions, and I feel bad. I don't think we answered nearly all of them, but thank you guys for sticking around. This was really fun. So we are doing a giveaway too for a free 1 year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So you will get unlimited plants you can log in the visual garden layout. You have pictures that you can send up to Growbot for plant help or identification or pest identification, all of that. Also, get free shipping on all of your orders through Park Seed. So that's huge, especially if you got some tomatoes left to order. And then also going to be doing you get to pick out one of the packs of tomatoes we talked about today. So, woohoo. So congratulations here to Bet Bonjour. So, congratulations. Send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net. We'll get you all hooked up. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Okay.
All
Well,
right. Well,
thank
this
you
was
all so
fun.
much.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week. What are we doing next week? Do we know yet?
I don't know next week.
We need to do peppers. We do peppers next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's run it back with peppers. So we'll see you next week, and we'll talk all about peppers.
Sounds good. See y'all next week. Same time, same place.
Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
everybody.